Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. In this one, I'm going to be explaining how to get the End Times axe in Lumber Tycoon 2. And I'm going to start the video by explaining what the End Times axe is for any of my viewers who may not know. However, if you do know what the End Times axe is and are simply watching this video because you want to see how to get it in the most efficient way, you can skip ahead to the timestamp on screen. Anyways, the End Times axe is an axe in Lumber Tycoon 2 that was introduced in Halloween of 2016. It is a very special axe for a magnitude of reasons, but perhaps the most important is that it can cut every single wood currently in Lumber Tycoon 2. And it is the only axe that can do this because it is the only axe that can cut phantom wood, also known as lone cave wood or End Times wood. And if you are not familiar with phantom wood, it was introduced into the game at the same time as the End Times axe and can be harvested by placing an eye on the toll booth and then taking the bridge all the way down into the lone cave. Anyways, as I mentioned, the End Times axe is the only axe that can actually chop this wood, which makes it super valuable if you want to build with End Times or phantom wood. Anyways, another reason why this axe is so special is that it comes back into the game every single year, but only for one day. That day being Halloween. Every Halloween, Lumber Tycoon 2 turns all desaturated and foggy in an event which is called the End Times. And only during this event, which lasts from October 31st at 6 AM EST to November 1st at 6 AM EST, can you actually get the End Times axe. And the method for actually getting the End Times axe is identical to the method for getting the RUKIRY axe, which you can get on every single day of the year, aside from Halloween. As for statistics, the End Times axe does 1.58 damage to normal trees with a range of 9 units and a cooldown of 0.4 seconds. And this means that the End Times axe has a DPS of 3.95, which is just slightly under the DPS of the RUKIRY axe at 4.2. However, on Phantom Wood, the End Times axe does 10 million damage with a 0.3 second cooldown. And it does this much damage to Phantom Wood, aka Lone Cave Wood, because Phantom Wood has a hardness value of 80 million. And the reason why the End Times axe and Phantom Wood have these high values is because Lumber Tycoon 2 doesn't actually have a way to restrict a certain axe type to a certain tree. So to fix that, Defaultio simply made Phantom Wood, aka Lone Cave Wood, really hard and made the End Times axe chop that wood with a lot of damage. Anyways, now that you know what the End Times axe is, let's get into how you can actually obtain it. Now just a quick disclaimer, I am recording this video on October 28th and it will come out on October 30th, which means that instead of the End Times axe, I am actually going to be making the RUKIRY axe. However, as I just mentioned, if you do this exact same process during the End Times event on Halloween, you will get the End Times axe instead of the RUKIRY axe. Okay, now that disclaimer is out of the way, let's get into the normal way to get the End Times axe. So in order to get the axe, you're going to need 1 bag of sand, 1 light bulb, and 1 can of worms. The bag of sand can be found at Wood or Us on one of the shelves near the back underneath the saw maxes. It only costs 1,600 money, making it the cheapest out of the 3 items. Next up, you will need a light bulb, which is found at Fancy Furnishings on the very back shelf here for 2,600 money, making it a bit more expensive. And finally, you will find the can of worms at Bob's Shack on this shelf right here for 3,200 money, which makes it the most expensive item. Now, while you are in Bob's Shack, you will also need to get 1 dynamite in order to explode the boulders to the Taiga. You can get lucky sometimes and have the Taiga boulders already exploded, but I recommend always saving up enough money to buy this dynamite just in case. Alright, now that you have all of your supplies, simply head over to the Taiga boulders. Explode the boulders as usual, and then go ahead and follow the right wall of the Taiga. And you're just going to want to keep following this wall until you reach basically the end, where you may be able to see a faint red eagled sign on the wall. If you can't see it, don't worry, just simply drive to exactly where I am. Anyways, once you are at this spot, you're going to want to look underneath the snow for a hatch. And you can either do this by putting your camera so that's positioned underneath the snow, or by simply walking over the area with your mouse or your cursor pointed downwards until you get a prompt. And once you get this prompt, simply press E and you should see the hatch open up. From there, you want to take all of your items and shove them down into this hole in the ground. It is kind of annoying because the hatch closes itself up after a few seconds, but all you have to do is just open it up again. Once all of your items are in this cave, which is called the den, you should be able to unbox all of them and then place them on specific plates. Start by placing your light bulb on the right side of the table. Next up, you want to place your bag of sand right in the middle, and finally place your can of worms on the left side. And once you do all of those steps, all you have to do is look directly upwards and you should see the axe beginning to fall down this hole. The axe will have a cool effect when it first spawns in, as it will get lowered down until eventually you can grab it. And just like that, you have obtained your end times axe. However, there is another way to obtain the end times axe, which actually saves you almost 2,000 money. And doing it this way is actually pretty simple, as all you need to do is, instead of getting a can of worms, get a second bag of sand. Now, don't ask me how this works because I have no idea why it does, but if you place 2 bags of sand on the middle plate and just 1 light bulb on the right plate, it will have the same effect as placing the can of worms on the left plate. And since the bag of sand is almost $1,000 cheaper than the can of worms, by getting 2 bags of sand instead of a can of worms will save you almost $2,000. Again, I have no idea how this works, but it is a pretty cool glitch and an easy way to save a few extra bucks. And that's how you get the end times axe in Lumber Tycoon 2. Now, feel free to click off the video here, but I do want to quickly explain how players actually figured out how to craft the RUKIRY axe and the end times axe from the quest that is in Lumber Tycoon 2. Okay, so hidden in Wood R Us and the land store are 3 posters which are titled rumors. The first poster is on the roof of Wood R Us and it's titled Rumors About RUKIRY. Now, this poster has a lot of nonsense on it, but the only thing that you actually need to pay attention to is the first line, which is eats light bulbs. And basically, this alerts the player that the RUKIRY NPC, which is sitting on the right side of the table, likes light bulbs. The second poster is found in the wood drop-off section of Wood R Us, and it's titled Rumors About RUKIRY. Now, there's a lot of gibberish in this poster too, but the only thing that you really need to pay attention to is the very last few words, which say also eats sand. And this poster tells the player that the RUKIRY NPC needs to eat sand, which is why you place the sand in the middle of the table. Now finally, the last poster is located in the land store and it's titled Rumors About Gusmanok. And on the second line of the word gibberish, you see it says eats worms, and this alerts to the player that you need to put the worms on the left side of the table. And now, to actually find the den, players quickly discover that in one of the toll booths, it says follow the eagle. And that's why in the den area, there's a massive eagle, and there's also a small red eagle which is placed above the den's opening. Now, during the end times event, the 3 posters which I just talked about all change to saying the end is near, which obviously alerts the player that by doing that same quest on the end times event, you will get something different, and that something different is, well, the end times axe. So yeah, just thought you guys should know about that, as I think it's a pretty cool quest. Anyways, that is actually going to be it for the video. Thank you all so much for watching, and be sure to go and get yourself a few end times axes this year, or else you're gonna have to wait a whole year to get them again. Anyways, this is gonna be it for me. Goodbye.